Do you smell that? It smells like a brand new year. And you know what that means? It means it's time to make a couple New Year's resolutions that you'll probably forget about in 3 weeks. But it's not quite that simple, is it? Typically, you probably have a bad day and you're unable to stick to those goals, or you completely bomb them. Then you probably start having some negative thoughts about how you ruined it and you're not going to be able to do it anymore, and you just give up. The thing is, you can overcome these negative thoughts by adopting some Scrum and Agile mindsets. I'd say that sounds like some scrumptious agility. Hey there, I'm Jeff Stemple, an advocate for all things Scrum and Agile, and I'm here to encourage you to keep at it because you too can be successful with those New Year's resolutions. But before we begin, let's check off that first New Year's resolution by clicking the subscribe button. It really helps out the channel and plays into YouTube's algorithm. Hit the bell icon and you'll get notified every time we upload another scrumptious video. I want to go over a couple of different examples of how you can use Scrum or Agile in order to help you achieve and stick to those New Year's resolutions. So the first example we're going to go over is losing weight. So what you'd want to do to use Scrum to help you achieve your goal is you'd want to start off by kind of planning out how you want to evaluate yourself. Typically in Scrum, you do something called a sprint, and those sprints usually last anywhere between 1 to 4 weeks. For losing weight, I would suggest going down as low as 1 week, if not even lower, down to 1 day. That gives you a lot of opportunity to evaluate yourself on a more frequent level, and it gives you some room for improvement where you can see and evaluate the things that you do to see if they help you grow. So you got to first choose, are you going to evaluate yourself daily or are you going to evaluate yourself weekly? Now, if you evaluate yourself weekly or daily, the process is going to pretty much look very similar. First thing you're going to do is you're going to come up with a plan at either the start of the day or the start of the week, depending on which way you're going to go. Since we're going with weight loss, my recommendation would be weigh yourself, figure out your meal plan for the day, log your calories, get a workout in. That might be your starting point. Now, if you're doing daily, you're going to do that every single day. Or if you do it weekly, you're probably also going to be doing that every single day. Or you may, weigh yourself once a week. You may meal prep for the entire week. It's up to you. You're gonna figure out what works best for you. Now, after you've gone through that, if you're going daily, you're gonna have check-ins with yourself throughout the day. How am I doing on weighing myself? Oh, I did that. Great. How am I doing on logging my calories? Oh, I'm not doing so good. I better pick it up. Oh, I'm not doing good here. It's okay. It's gonna take you a little bit of time to adjust, but same thing with weekly. You're also gonna be having these check-ins with yourself. Towards the end of your day, you're going to review everything you've done that past day or week. If you're going daily, you're going to want to do this probably at the end of the day, probably after dinner or whenever you've decided you've had your last meal. Or if you're doing weekly, you're going to pick the end of the week, and that's when you're going to go over it. But you're going to review everything you did and just kind of look at how well you've done. Or maybe if you've done poorly, look at that too. That's okay. After you've reviewed what you've done, you're going to reflect in what's called a retrospective, and you're going to go, what worked really well for me, depending on your cadence. If you're going daily, you're going to say, oh, this went well today, this went bad today, and the good thing though, that's okay. It doesn't matter if you have a bad day, it doesn't matter if you have a bad week. What matters is that you observe, you reflect, and you try to make change for the next day or week. So the great thing about this is that, hey, we're all going to fail at some point. The good thing is you can start again. It's losing weight, not never having sugar again. That's not possible. I mean, some people can do it. I sure as heck can't. So after you've gone through, you're going to make a couple of action items. You're going to observe what went well, what didn't go well, and then you're going to come up with an action item or two on what you're going to do for the next day or the next week. That's how you would lose weight. That's probably the primarily big one. You're going to pick daily or weekly as your starting point of how long you're going to go over all of this. Again, you're going to come up with a plan. You're going to have check-ins with yourself. You're going to review it all at the end to see how you did. And then you're going to reflect on what you did. So once you've reflected on everything, you're going to come up with, again, some action items that you can actually achieve for your next day or week and go from there. And then reassess yourself to see how you're doing. A good example might be, when I had water at meals, I noticed I ate a lot less because the water filled me up. Or, when I worked out over lunchtime, That ended up helping me to eat less throughout the day than if I wait until after dinner to work out. So essentially, this is you going to figure out what's working for you, not me, not these people out there. What works well for you in this goal. Finally, last example, a lot of people like to do some sort of education for their New Year's resolution. I actually have one of those myself. And I mentioned earlier, I am a certified Scrum Master. I like to get the advanced certification through Scrum Alliance. So I'll use my own example of how I can go about getting the advanced certified Scrum Master certification using Scrum. So I know exactly what needs to be done. So I'm going to break it apart into several things. Typically, sure, sometimes you can get certification done within a week or 2 weeks, but sometimes you just can't because, again, you have to know when your class is. You have to get the financing for the class, depending on if you're getting it through work or if you're doing it yourself. This is where you can take this example and break it down into smaller pieces and then just tackle one piece at a time in every single week. Here's looking at how to go and get certification. What you're going to do is probably research. You need to find out, where are you going to get your certification through? How much does it cost? You're going to need to do all that research to figure out when you can actually do it. So your first breakdown item would be do your research. After you've figured out when you're going to do it, then you're going to register. After you register, you're going to pick out your instructor, you're going to pick out your course. I highly recommend getting your certification through Scrum Alliance. That's where I went, so slightly biased, but you know what? That's okay. So again, you're going to pick out who your instructor is, you're going to pick out where you're going to go, when you're going to go. You may find that you can't make any progress after a while, depending on what your goal is, because you are waiting until a certain event to occur. In that case, that's okay. You can start looking into other goals that you're working on, or you can just kind of hit the pause on this one and just or you still have the events and just say, well, I can't do anything. I'm blocked. Once you actually can take the class, then there you got your class. You got to study for the exam. You've got to take the exam, and then you pass, and then you're done. For this one, you may want to use larger chunks of time, depending on when you can actually take the exam, when your instructor is available, and all that information. You may just need to wait, and that's perfectly okay. So I would recommend in that case, you may want to have the 2 to 4 week sprints as opposed to the shorter sprints, because there's not as much you can do. So you are waiting, but still you want to have your plan, your planning session. You're going to want to have your daily check-ins with yourself. How am I doing towards this? Your daily check-in may be registered, waiting until 1 month until the class starts. That's fine. But the fact is, you're still actively thinking about this because it's at the front of your mind. You're still working towards that goal. Then at the end of each 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, have your review. What have I actually done to accomplish this? And fourth, your retrospective, what is going well, what isn't going well. If you're looking to get certified in Scrum, again, highly recommend Scrum Alliance. I can help you out. Leave a comment below if that's what you're looking to do, and I can help guide you to resources. What goals are you looking to achieve this year? How are you going to use Scrum or Agile to achieve those goals? Leave a comment below. And if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. I do appreciate it. It does help get more views. And also, if you found this video helpful and you want to share, please share on LinkedIn, Facebook, social media, wherever you feel like sharing. It means a lot to me. If you have ideas for future videos, how to use Scrum or Agile, or even servant leadership qualities, please leave a comment below. I would love to talk about it. All right, and be agile, stay scrumptious.